Okay, so an Aurender and an Eversolo walk into a bar, and the bartender says, oh wait, we're filming. Hey everyone, welcome to Upscale Audio. I'm Jake, and with me is the digital tweak himself, Jordan. And today we're diving into a comparison of two awesome streamers at around the $3,500 price point, the Aurender A1000 and the Eversolo DMP-A10.
Now, both of these units serve as a DAC, a preamp, as well as a streamer all in one box. They have some amazing offerings, especially when it comes down to their features and their sound quality, but they are also quite very different when it comes down to the philosophy and execution. We're not here to pick a winner.
We're not? I thought that's the whole point of the video.
No, instead, we are here to explore what makes each one special, as well as potentially what might fit best in your system.
Okay, so let's break down the test. For this test, we took both streamers and plugged them in through Ethernet into a reference system. That was the Technics SUG700 Mark II integrated amp and the SourcePoint 888 speakers.
Man, I love those SourcePoint 888s. They are some of our favorites under that $5,000 price point. They are detailed, dynamic, and revealing enough to highlight the strengths of each streamer, as well as we paired it along with the Technics amplifier, which is absolutely dead quiet and powerful enough to drive the speakers with accuracy. Now, it's a system that we know pretty well, which made it the perfect choice to showcase each streamer. And we did use some of our favorite songs, which we have Lane 8's Road, as well as Sir Elton John's Indian Sunset.
Now, comment down below which song you think we each picked. And also, I thought we chose that system because it was already set up when I arrived, and I didn't want to plug anything in. On that note, let's dive into the Aurender. So up first, we have Aurender. Aurender has been synonymous with high-end music servers and streamers, and their products are typically aimed at audiophiles who value both precision and musicality. The only downside of Aurender for a long time is that their prices were often well beyond the reach of many enthusiasts or people just getting started. This A1000 changes that by bringing Aurender down to a price point, $3,500, that makes it their most affordable offering, but it's still gonna carry their hallmark attention to detail and robust build quality. You're buying into the Aurender ecosystem, a name trusted in the audiophile world for years.
Now, let's jump a little bit more into the technical side for Aurender. Starting off that this is going to utilize the AKM DAC, which is the AKM 4490 REQ DAC chips.
Two of them.
Jake's got it. They're ran in a dual mono configuration, and AKM is definitely going to be known for their lush and warm tonality, which we definitely heard in our audio playback. Now, Kevin and I did do a video on the Aurender A1000 previously, so if you want to hear me go over every connection that it offers, please go head out to that video. We definitely work hard on them. But we're here to talk about some of the more pinpoint and key features, starting off with critical listening mode. Now, critical listening mode can be toggled within the application. When you use that mode, it enables the Aurender A1000 to turn off its extra features, such as like a screen and some of the internal circuit boards on the inside of the unit, which helps remove any additional noise from it. Now, that is 100% an audio-first direct utilized function. Besides that, the A1000 being a streamer, it could also be used as a preamplifier for music as well as a music server. Now, to do that, you have to add in a 2.5-inch SSD or a hard drive. And not to mention that Aurender actually doesn't utilize any Wi-Fi features in their units. Now, that is because Wi-Fi does introduce noise into your system. I've had that issue where I've had a router next to a phono stage and I had a ton of noise.
I thought critical listening mode is when I take an Adderall before I play music. Okay, on that note, let's talk about the app. This app is called the Conductor app. Aurender originally designed it exclusively for Apple devices, which I love, but they since expanded to other platforms and even opened up compatibility with Roon. We've been asking for Roon compatibility with Aurender for a long time. I have to be honest though, when I first sat down to use the Conductor app when I first started, I found it a little daunting and intimidating. I would click a song and it wouldn't play automatically. It would add it to a playlist. I realized you're supposed to hold down and then click play now. And the beauty of that feature is you can just tap songs and instantly build the perfect playlist instantly.
Well, now what stood out to me on the Conductor app is that it feels a lot more like it's a music first application. Now, besides that, Aurender also has some phenomenal technical support. So if you do have any issues with your Aurender, you can go on the application and give Aurender access to your unit. That way they can connect to it remotely and try to see what's going on with it, what's the issue. And man, that's a level of customer support that you don't really see in high-end products, but man, it doesn't make a difference when you're spending $3,500 on a streamer.
I usually just say, Jordan, fix it, and that's how I get things fixed. But let's talk about the sound quality. I would say to give it some defining characteristics, it would be the weight and the richness that it brought to the music. On Indian Sunset, the percussion felt grounded and authoritative in the room, giving me the impression that the drummer was literally like drumming and going crazy and doing his thing in front of it. The weight helped cement the placement of the instruments within the soundstage.
The string section to me had it carried kind of like a velvety richness that some of the best playback that I've heard in my personal experience. Its attention to detail was absolutely crisp and phenomenal. Elton's voice felt very warm and intimate, with the low registers of the piano feeling very full-bodied and filled the room beautifully.
When we switched to Road by Lane 8, which is my current favorite song, I felt that same richness extended to the bass line. It felt dense and rounded, giving a strong foundation for the track. The percussion had an almost physical impact, with the weight behind each beat making the rhythm feel more tactile. Then going on to the female vocals, sung amazingly by Arctic Lake. They sounded natural with a warm tone that blended seamlessly in the mix, giving like a smooth, organic flow.
You gave away what song was your favorite. Now, with everything out of the way, let's jump into the Eversolo.
Okay, now let's talk about Eversolo. Eversolo came out of nowhere and flipped the entire streamer market on its head. The earlier models, the A6, A6 Master, and A8 came out and were frankly a paradigm shift that blew us away. And if you want to watch a video breaking down those three, you can watch that here. This is the A10 now, their new flagship, and it is going straight at higher level competitors, and it's awesome to see what Eversolo puts into it. What sets Eversolo apart is their commitment to innovation. They're not just about great sound, but it does sound great. They're about pushing boundaries with features like digital room correction, optical Ethernet, and robust connectivity.
Yeah, most definitely, which let's talk more about technology. For the Eversolo DMP-A10, we are going to get the ESS Sabre ES9039 Pro DAC. Now, Sabre's definitely going to be known for their precision as well as the airiness that they add to audio. Jake and I just recently did a video on the Eversolo DMP-A10, so if you want to see every connection option that it offers, go check out the video. But same as Aurender, I want to focus on some of the key features that this unit offers us. So, the Eversolo has about double the amount of connection options, plus both RCA as well as XLR output. Now, besides both of those, we also do get dual sub outs, which pretty cool, man. I mean, there's not a ton of streamers that give you dual subs. The A10's application allows its users to get more in-depth with the audio customization, such as utilizing the internal DSP for balance, DAC roll-off, EQ adjustments, or even room correction, which, Jake, I think your room definitely needs some correction. Now, we didn't use the room correction within our test because we wanted these to be as fair as possible to each other. Now, moving a little bit more onto the internet portion of this, the internet connectivity is not only do you get Ethernet and Wi-Fi, but you also get fiber optic Ethernet, which is going to help mitigate any noise that's introduced by those cables. The A10 can also be used as a music streamer as well by adding not just one, but you can add 2 SSDs to the bottom of the unit, so double the amount of music. So Jake, tell us more about the app experience though.
You have such longer sections than me. Okay, the Eversolo app. It's going to take a very different approach to Aurender. While the Aurender was way more about music-focused production, the Eversolo kind of throws everything in the kitchen sink at you. It has 5 different modes for customizing the clock display on the volume knob, which I thought was fun. At first, I found the Eversolo app to be a lot more user-friendly than Aurender. I could click a song and it would just start playing. But honestly, I would say that even though it's a clean interface and easy to navigate, I feel like the longer I spent with it, the more I felt like the app was trying to do maybe a little bit too much. It had settings that I got super bogged down on that I'd never used. I feel like you could get video games playing on this thing.
Now, there is one more thing that I did want to note, and that is going to be that we haven't had any personal experience with Eversolo's tech support yet. And the reason being is they're a much newer brand for us. We only picked them up just last year, so we haven't had a chance to do so yet. But same as all products that you buy from Upscale Audio, we're going to take care of you and make sure that we're able to assist on any technical questions you may have. And man, I've helped on quite a few technical questions myself. Now, let's jump on over to the sound quality, Jake.
Yeah, if you need help, just do what I do and say, Jordan, help! Okay, the sound quality. I feel like you said about the DAC, it was all about precision and airiness. On Indian Sunset, the higher frequencies from the strings and acoustic guitar were crisp, dynamic, giving it an edge to the track, a sense of clarity and separation that felt like peeling back the layers of sound.
The vocals also stood out with Elton's voice, so they are going to sound a little bit more forward and present within the room. The airiness added a sense of openness and dynamic range, emphasizing the finer details on the track. While the percussion didn't carry the same weight as the Aurender, it still had exceptional texture behind it.
On Road by Lane 8, the A10 leaned into those strengths, making the female vocals from Arctic Lake sound more immediate and lifelike. I felt significantly more engaged with the vocals.
The airiness was also extended to the percussion and strings on Road. The higher frequencies were detailed and clean with a sense of space between the instruments. While the bass didn't have the same density as the Aurender, it was tightly controlled and precise, creating an engaging and lively soundstage.
Okay, so let's recap. Both the A1000 and the DMP-A10 offer stellar streaming DAC preamp options, but they cater to slightly different priorities. So let's sum up what we've learned, because Jordan has long sections and I learn a lot from him when he talks about the tech.
Starting with build quality, both units are very impressive. The Aurender sticks to its minimalist design, and it's made out of a solid piece of aluminum chassis, and it's definitely a music-first engineering. Now, on the other hand, the Eversolo is going to be more of a modern edge with its CNC machine construction, its customizable knob on the front, its gorgeous ginormous screen on the very front of the unit, and man, it's awesome. If you're looking for that cleaner, minimalist aesthetic though, Aurender's your guy. If you want something with a bit more flair, Eversolo definitely stands out.
When it comes to the tech, the Aurender is going to focus on refinement. It has those dual AKM DACs, the critical listening mode, and it's all about creating an immersive music experience. The Conductor app, while at least for me, would take a little bit of a learning curve, it ultimately is designed for audiophiles who love building and curating playlists and listening sessions.
The Eversolo is going to lean into its innovation and versatility. It's packed with a ton of features, such as its dual SSD slots, optical Ethernet, and its advanced room correction. Man, how much more do I have to keep saying about it? Its app is intuitive right out of the box. It offers a ton of customization for users who want to control every detail of their system, or not.
Be honest, did you have trouble with the Aurender, or am I just dumb? Okay, moving on to the sound quality. That's going to be the most subjective difference. Remember, this is just what we heard in our listening room, but for us, the sound quality is where their different personalities really shined. Aurender was richer and more grounded sound. On Indian Sunset, the percussion felt weighty and tactile, cementing the position of that drummer firmly in the room, while the string sections and piano carried, like you said, a velvety smoothness, creating an emotionally engaging experience.
The Eversolo, in contrast, highlights airiness and precision. On Lane 8's Road, the female vocalist sounded taller and much more forward, creating a sense of immediacy. The higher frequencies were crisp and detailed, especially with strings and acoustic instruments. The percussion excelled in texture and separation, offering a little bit more of an analytical and spacious experience in total.
So when you're choosing between them, it's going to depend on your priorities. If you prefer their warmth, richness, and a streamlined music experience, the Aurender is your pick. But if you like detail, customization, and frankly, cutting edge features, the A10 is the way to go.
Now, either way that you go, they're going to get a phenomenal streamer that pairs perfectly with high quality gear such as our Technics and SourcePoint 888s, or, I mean, potentially, your reference system at home.
So the best way to decide is to hear them for yourself. Visit us in store or online and talk to our commission-free sales team like Jordan, and we'll help you find the perfect fit for your system. But before we end, we wanted to run a giveaway. Comment down below which one you would pick, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card.
We don't even get $25 gift cards.
Okay, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and at Upscale, we'll treat your system
Like it's ours.